Well, hello.
Hello.
We are back.
We are back.
Welcome to our channel. I am Rebecca, and
I am Burnett.
most of the time I do the interviewing and Burnett does the channeling.
Yes.
We are channeling voices from the other side of life. However, today we're going to do things a little bit differently.
We are. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. So today, um, for this session, Burnett will do the interviewing. I will not be channeling. She is the channeler. However, she will be interviewing me.
Yes. And this is different because most of you know she's my mother. I'm going to get to interview her in a way I've never gotten to do before. And she has no idea what I'm going to ask.
I don't. I don't.
Because I says, yeah, I'm going to interview you. She's like, really? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because, one, she's an amazing woman. And I thought you all might want to get to know us. And we mentioned before that we might do a couple of episodes where you all get to meet us because we've been doing this since March 2017. And we kind of just jumped into it.
Yes.
And we didn't really stop and say, hey, this is who Rebecca is and this is who Burnett is.
Right.
And we've been rolling and realizing that we are 30 plus episodes in. And you might have no idea who we are.
And that is about to change.
So it's about to change. So I'm going to get into this and ask Mom some questions.
And I don't know what the questions are.
Okay.
Okay.
And clearly I don't have anything in front of me either. So I'm going to just use my intuition and allow Spirit to lead me as to what I need to ask her that you all might need to know.
Okay.
So I'm going to just back up. So if you remember, she's the reason we are doing this channel. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Okay.
So if you don't recall, it was her encouragement, actually. And it's always been her encouragement. That is why we decided to start this and actually move forward with it after the prompting from Eric. And I was more apt to just keep doing what I was doing, but I wasn't able to do that because I was led by Mom to take this leap. And I'm glad that we did. But I want to back up and ask a little bit about why you were even, like, how it all began. I came downstairs and you're watching the Shiny show.
Yes, I was.
And just give us a little bit of background about kind of what got you into even watching that.
Well, I think really it was a setup because I don't even know how I came across the interviews that Eric's mother was doing with people from the other side. But I came across it somehow, and I got so interested in it. I was just so absorbed with it. I watched every video I could watch. And then I noticed the Shiny show, and I started watching those. And theirs was a little different, lighthearted, very entertaining. And I was just wrapped up in those videos. So that's what I was watching when Burnett came downstairs. However, I have to say that before I came to visit her during that time, or visit you during that time, I really thought about you doing that, and I thought Burnett could do this. I'm always thinking that Burnett could do it. I believe in her because she is so gifted and talented. I just believe she could do it. And since I love asking questions, and I've always asked a lot of questions. I just figured, I could ask the questions and she could do that. She could talk to people from the other side. And that's really kind of, the seed that was planted inside of me, but I didn't share that with her because I knew she was very busy. And I kind of thought she would say no if I just threw it out there. So I didn't. I just kind of pushed it to the side. But I was still watching the shows and involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the seed was planted even before you came.
Mm-hmm.
So almost 9 months later, wow. We are almost 9 months later.
We are. Wow.
Such a significant number.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
What do you think of all that's transpired, and what has it done in your own life?
Oh my goodness. For me, about a year ago, I was living in another state. I was living in Rochester, New York. I was very much involved with the spiritualist church there. Very deeply involved. And some things transpired that made me realize perhaps I should step aside and, because it was just so stressful, I thought maybe that was no longer for me and the path that I should take. And so I did step aside and I started a blog because I felt like I was going to go on a journey. I didn't know where it was going to lead. I had no idea. I just knew that there was more. And so I stepped aside. I'm on my journey and I'm writing about it every week. Things are coming to me and I'm just learning more about myself, learning more about spirit and life, and I'm on this path. And then I come to visit you.
That's right.
And had no intention. It just didn't even cross my mind to move to Atlanta area. Not at all.
Isn't that funny?
I know. I had absolutely no intention of moving because
You didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't. I've been wanting her to move for years. Let me just interject. For years I've been wanting her to So.
I wasn't giving it a thought. I just thought I'd never move back to the South. But, while I was here, all of this started happening. And then my grandson said something to me, too.
What did he say?
He said, "Grandma, can you come and live with us forever?" and I think that was inspired as well. Because, how to affect a grandmother more than have a grandchild say something. So that kind of made me open. It opened me up to consider it.
It did, and then it moved pretty quickly after that.
Yes.
Yeah, you think about that.
2 months later, I'm back in Atlanta for good. It's unbelievable how that happened so quickly.
It did.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And then I want to hear from you. What happened after that? So that was the end of May.
That was the end of May, yes.
And very soon after that, we wrapped up some of the videos. I think we did 2 more in June, maybe 3 more in the summer. But a lot happened in this summer.
Oh my goodness.
A
lot did
kept
happen.
Bringing up new stuff. This is what she does. She goes and finds this information, and then she brings it to me
and says, "You could do this."
Or you'll bring it to my awareness, and then suddenly spirit will start, once it's in my awareness,
yep,
it's in there.
You gotta do something with it.
But you brought up a lot of stuff this summer.
I did. Well, actually, before I moved in May, I came across Alba Weinman's videos with quantum healing. But what caught me up into her videos was the spirit release that she was doing at the end. And I thought, oh my goodness. Almost everyone probably have attachments. And then I started buying books and, consuming as much as I could about spirit attachments and how to release them, and then I presented it to you because of course I believe she can do everything. So
Thank you for the confidence.
I do. You're just amazing. So I brought it to her and she picked it up and she ran with it. You ran with it.
A little, yes, I did.
Yeah, you did. You did, and you were just doing it, and you even did it for me, which made quite a difference in my life. And that's on one of the videos that we did as well.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So one from the summer. The spirit release.
Yeah. And then you did it for a number of other people and people in the family, and it was something. It to me is one of the greatest healing modalities or platforms or mechanisms that we have available to us. And it's unfortunate that so many healers have no idea and no clue.
Well, that kind of makes me think of something else, kind of going back to your background. And this came out a little bit if you saw Mama Maybell. And she was a Christian minister, essentially a Christian evangelist, who lived, and she had a very powerful message about speaking your truth, but also about some of the limiting beliefs and how they impacted her family and herself on the other side. And you mentioned so many people, even healers, having no idea about spirit attachments. What do you think about what you've learned compared to what you might have understood from your upbringing, and that why would there even be spirit attachments? Why would that even be on the radar?
Well, it in this later life that I've been living, it was not on the radar. However, my childhood life, it was on the radar because of my Christian beliefs.
Okay.
Growing up as a Pentecostal, they dealt with, they had another name for it. They didn't call it spirit attachment. They call it spirit possession. And there was a blanket assumption that all spirit attachment or possession, as they call it, was negative and that they were demonic. But that is not the case. That they're on the right track, but it's kind of like barking up the wrong tree.
Okay.
But they were in the area. And I think there was a lack of understanding and knowing, because I think religions can sometimes miscue what's really there when we look at it through the lens of religion. If we just look at it through the lens of life without religion attached to it, I think it's clearer to see.
So how has your upbringing as a child in the Pentecostal church and then moving to this current life, how has that affected why you're doing this today and what you are doing, because you're a healer?
You know what? I am. And I believe I always have been. because I have a desire to see people become better. But I think, I probably chose the family, that life, because I do have an inclination towards spirit and those things that are spiritual. And I believe that my childhood gave me a background, a premise
Okay.
to work from, because, I no longer practice that religion. It doesn't mean that I don't believe. I believe that everything in that religion was incorrect. I believe that religion really helped me to have a spiritual foundation, such as what I have. It helped me to understand the importance of having a prayer life, even though I've added a meditation life to that prayer life.
I'm going to pause you for just a second because I think that's really important what you just said. A lot of people who I think maybe follow a non-religious spiritual path and may not have that background or may have that background and have been so turned off from it, have tossed everything.
Yeah.
And you're saying you've kept the prayer,
I've kept
and
the
you saw
prayer.
value in a lot of the things that you learned or the tools. It sounds like.
Yes, the prayer I have kept, um, and the prayer is I attribute the success of your life, the life of my other two children, to my having a prayer life and praying for you as children all of your lives growing up.
Thank you. Thank you.
you know, and I'm a firm believer that prayer does work because it is it sets intention, and and even if you don't believe that you need to pray to a God, you can still pray because prayer sets intentions and it puts words out that have power to transform, to protect, to set boundaries and standards. And I mean, it does a lot of things. You don't have to pray to a God if that's not what you believe. But if that is what you believe, yes, it helps to pray to that God, or to that higher source, or to the divine, or to divine mother, or source creator. So whatever you want to call the higher source, or even your higher self, um, it does help to put those words out into the universe because words have power. And you know, I you know, onto that is the Bible. I don't believe everything is true in the Bible, but I believe there is some truth in the Bible. I believe when it says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. I believe that what we speak, we have, because life and death is in the power of what we say. And I also believe that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And I believe that whatever's in our heart, we speak it. I believe that God gives us the desires of our heart. I think that those prayers or desires in our heart, the higher source gives those to us because the higher source is within us. You know, so I haven't tossed out everything from my past. I hold on to what I believe works for me.
I like that. I like that a lot because a lot of people, I think, become torn with how do they maybe marry those aspects of themselves, maybe where they came from or what they came out of, and the spiritual path that they're on, feeling as if there's no way that they can join. But from what you're saying, and what
There
even
is.
my experience as being your daughter, I know that they can. They can.
Well, this is true. And I know that a lot of people, they're very angry because they feel that they were misled by religion. And they are angry and upset with their past because they were taught to fear, and they feel that they were deceived with Jesus. And there's a lot of that. But if you can realize that we live in a world that is good and bad, that it doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter what you believe, it doesn't matter if you're in a church or if you're not in a church, it doesn't matter everything in this life, in this world, is going to have some good and it's going to have some bad. Even we, as individuals, every one of us has good and every one of us has bad. Everyone has a light side and everyone has a dark side.
Very true. Very true.
It's just the world we live in. And there's no one thing, person, or place that is all dark.
Because everything is polarity. We have polarity.
We do have polarity. And there's nothing that is all light. Even us light workers, we're not all light. You turn the light off and what do you have? Anytime you turn the light off, darkness is always there.
Yeah.
The only reason you don't see it is the lights on. Darkness is always there.
You're right.
It's always there.
So, you, in the past several years, you've said you've always been a healer.
Yes.
And then you've taken it up and studied Reiki.
Yes.
How do you tell us a little bit about you and Reiki, and then about how you fuse that with this overall sense of who you are?
Well, yes, I've studied the Reiki, and most recently, Holy Fire Reiki, that I really love working with.
Yes, yes.
But before that, in my healing, even though I use the metaphysical format, within myself, I always pull some of my past and add the prayer of healing to anything that I do, because it sets an intention for healing.
Right.
And it adds a bit more to the belief for the healing that a person needs. That's basically how I've used my healing. Because prior to Reiki, I did spiritual healing. And prior to that, all my life, I did hands-on healing. Before I knew about Reiki, and before I knew to call it spiritual healing, I did hands-on healing. And they do that. It works. It really does work. I remember my youngest son, as a baby, coming down with a really bad ear infection. I was a single mother. I had to work. He was at the babysitter. The babysitter took him to the doctor. She got a prescription, but by the time I got home, I had no means of getting to the pharmacy to get the prescription filled. And it was late, and he was sick, and I didn't know what to do. I put him in the bed beside me, and I said a prayer, and I asked God to heal him. I turned over and went to sleep. And when I woke up the next morning, he did not have an ear infection. I never got the prescription filled, and he's fine today.
He is.
He's-
That's
you know?
amazing. I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing. So why do you heal? Why is it? Because I know we've talked about you always call yourself, you feel like your calling is in healing,
It is.
and it sounds like you've been doing it all your whole life by different names. Why do you think
Why?
this is such a calling for you?
Because I care about people, and because I feel like one of my purposes in this life is to leave people better than I found them when they crossed my path, in whatever way that can be. If it's nothing but giving them a helping hand and helping them heal something physical in their life, or saying a kind, encouraging word and helping them heal an emotion in their life, or just making something better, because healing is helping us to become better and to become more in line with the divine that we are, and with our divine selves and with our divine creator. So I desire to help as many people as I can. I don't want to cross over to the other side and have people left behind that I have wounded. And I felt like in some of my past, some of my words, my attitudes could have wounded people, hurt their feelings. That's wounding.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not want to cross and have to go to a life review and have carnage on my record. I want to have healings on my record. I want them to say, you helped a lot of people. I really do want to hear, well done.
My good and faithful servant.
That's what I want to hear. And so I want to bring healing to the world, because that also helps me.
It does. It does. So what are you going to do with this? What do you do? How do you share this? And I'm just going to say, I consider this your ministry. People have different forms of ministry, and it's not always a pulpit, as you know. Is healing your ministry?
Healing really is my ministry. It is. I believe I have more than just that.
Yeah.
But that is a part of my ministry. Yeah, it is a part of my ministry, and I do it as I can do it. I try to do it for those whose paths I cross. Because I do believe that the people who cross our paths do not cross our paths by accident.
True.
I believe they cross our paths on purpose. And I think that purpose has been ordained and is by divine design for us to help each other on our journeys. So the people that cross my path that I'm supposed to help, I want to be of the mindset to help them. Because if not me, and I've agreed to do it on some level, then who?
So if someone wants to cross your path,
those who should cross my path,
they will
cross my path. And yes, they will want to cross my path. But sure.
So if people wanted to find out more about your healing, and because you can do Reiki in person and you can do it by distance, tell them how they can find out more about you and
Well, I do have a website, RebeccaWashington.com. My contact information is there.
I will make sure to drop it in the comment description below.
Yeah. So that is one way you can contact me. I do have a Facebook page, Rebecca Washington, the healer, the spiritual healer, on Facebook. You can contact me there. And I think that's it.
Okay.
And on Spirit Speaks.
Of course, yeah. Spirit Speaks.
Always Spirit Speaks.
SpiritSpeaksChannel.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. This has been
You're welcome.
interesting because I've never asked these questions before. I'm not the questioner as much as you are.
I love asking questions.
Yeah. So this has been interesting, and I hope it was interesting for you too. If you have questions, please drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, see what you thought about this discussion with Mom, Rebecca, and check us out for the next one. I'll be interviewed as well, learn a bit about me.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for checking us out. And always, for those of you who come back time and time again, for supporting this work that we're doing.
Thank you.
We do appreciate you. All right. Thanks so much.
We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.